What's up, everybody? New golf podcast here. It's a new podcast called The Fly or Lie. We're a golf podcast focused around amateur golf, golf improvement, competition, all the things us amateur golfers go through on a daily, weekly, yearly basis that make this game so incredibly difficult, but also incredibly fun and rewarding. Mitch and myself will share our experiences, our thoughts, our ideas, stuff that'll all be relatable to you, relatable to us, obviously, as amateur golfers with busy family lives. And hopefully, we'll share a few laughs along the way with you guys. We don't need to take this game too seriously, it's hard enough already. We'll try and have some fun with it. I'm Josh, or Jish. Some people call me Jish. Mitch is next to me here. We'll co host this thing together every week. We may bring some guests along the way. I'm hoping to have my coach on. Hopefully we'll get your coach on. I think he likes the internet, right? We'll get some other people on to talk about some things. We'll have some fun. But for the most part, it'll be just Mitch and I. Bear with us at the start here. Early on, we're learning all of this as we go. There could be some bumps in the road. Hopefully you'll stick around with us for the ride, but bear with us if we run into some issues. If you hear or notice issues, especially with audio or anything, feel free to throw something in the chat. I'll see it. Mitch will see it. We'll fix it as quickly as we can. All right, so I've yapped enough here, Mitch. Do you want to fill everybody in on who you are, what your golf background is, how you came to be a competitive golfer, brag about your handicap, all that good stuff? Fill us in. Who are you?
I don't know if my handicap's worth bragging about. It sounds weird to say. I'm like a 1.9 or whatever I ended the season at, but I mean it's good, but compared to where I want to go, it's not that good. But anyway, I'm Mitch Mossman. I've been playing golf since I was probably 6 or 7 years old. I was one of those kids that was right around when Tiger came around and was dominating the tour in '97, won the Masters, and kind of got hooked into it right then and there. Been playing a long time. Started playing competitive golf when I was in 7th grade. Our golf team was a small school of like my graduating class was like 90 kids, so it wasn't very many. But I was on the varsity team from 7th grade through 12th grade. Our team never made it to state. We got really close a couple of years, but that was kind of the majority of my time playing competitive golf. After that, I didn't play in college. I was never quite good enough for that. I was shooting, low 80s, things of that sort. So it was never good enough for that next jump into college. But a few years ago, I don't know why, I don't know what clicked. I needed something competitive to do. And obviously I really love golf, was still golfing, most of the time. Took a break there during college, but was still playing quite a bit of golf. But I just needed to get back and scratch that competitive itch. If anyone knows what I mean by that, like just need to go out there and compete. So hooked up, I got some coaching from a local pro, started practicing quite a bit. This was 2-3 years ago now. Played in a mid-am, the Minnesota State mid-am, got absolutely walloped. I shot an 86, 85 in 2 days and missed the cut by 19 strokes, I think it was. Quickly realized that I was nowhere near where I needed to be to play any sort of real competitive golf, especially on the state level where there's a lot of, ex-pros or ex-D1 college players, like just really good players. But yeah, that's when I hooked up with my coach, Ryan Moquet. Might have screwed that up, but I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
That's how I would say it, Moquet. I think we're right.
Yeah, if he's listening, he can correct us, or we'll have him on the podcast sometime. But yeah, and yeah, I hooked up with him last year. I got quite a bit of coaching from him, and worked my way down from an 8.6, I think it was, when I first started getting really serious back into it and trying to improve, down to I was as low as a 1.3 last year. And goal is scratch and hopefully better, but just going to continue working, keep playing some competitive golf. And I don't know what my calendar looks like this year, but I'm looking forward to figuring that out and sharing with you guys here on the pod. Yeah, shoot it back to you, Josh.
Love it. Yeah. So my background is pretty different from yours, although we're kind of in the same spot. So my handicap is a little better than yours, but plus or minus a little bit. It's not,
No
we're
bragging.
similar golfers in skill. But my route to getting there a little different than yours. I started playing golf, like being serious about golf, other than like playing a charity scramble or just going out to the course and playing with my dad once every couple months or whatever. I started playing like legitimate golf like 5-ish years ago. I played basketball my whole life. Played through college, and then played a little bit of slow pitch softball after college, and then same with you. Needed to find that competitive itch again. Softball wasn't really doing it for me, and it was breaking my body down pretty badly somehow, some way. Even though I like played catcher, which is strange. Um, so so I kind of stumbled into golf and found out I love the grind. The grind in golf feels very similar to basketball for me. And for anybody that plays basketball, you know that you, as a 3-point shooter, which I was, you grind every single day, shoot a million 3-pointers a day to shoot 30%, which is good. Same in golf. You can grind as much as you want, do whatever you want, just to shoot 9 over. So it's a grind that made sense to me. I loved the everyday thing, going out there trying to get better and just improve small bits at a time. So that's what I did. I was at like a 15-ish, 16-ish handicap, just like the standard dude shooting mid 80s, high 9 or low 90s, whatever. Got myself down to like a 6 or 7 before I enlisted help. I stumbled into one of the best coaches in the Midwest, if not the entire country. Just found him on the internet. I just Googled coaches near me and met up with him, and we clicked right away. He's awesome. His name's Brent Snyder. I've been working with him for 3 years now, and my handicap's now down to a .8, which is exciting. I was hoping to get it to 0, but I didn't get to play as much golf this summer as I wanted to. Same with you, shooting for 0, but I'm a lot more concerned about competition play. I really want to qualify for our state am here, our state open here. I was pretty close a couple years ago, got a couple bad bounces. Much better golfer now, so hopefully I'll be able to do that. And I'm also really excited to play some competitive team golf. I think Mitch, you and I are going to do some of that,
Oh
and
yeah.
we'll do some documenting of that here on this podcast, of course. But being a team sports guy, playing team golf is fun and exciting. I'm looking forward to doing more competitive stuff like that. So I'm excited to get back into. I didn't do a whole lot of competitive golf this summer, so getting back into that scene and getting those juices flowing again. Um, yeah, so that's a little bit about my road here. Mitch, do you have plans for your summer in terms of your schedule? Do you know anything you want to do, what you're going to do in terms of actual places? I don't know if a whole bunch of tournaments have posted yet, but any
Yeah.
ideas or thoughts of what you're going to be doing yet?
Yeah. I have not looked into what's actually going to be posted from the state. I'll more than likely try to get into the mid am again. See if I can get into the match play. I know you got to do the qualifier. See if you can get into that.
Yeah.
The 4 ball with you. I think we're going to sign up for that, and I'm really stoked with that. Again, team golf is fun, especially a 4 ball where it's like you both need to play good, but then offset each other's bad. Like whoever has the bad ball,
Right.
the other person has to be playing good in order to do well in something like that. Um, but yeah, and then there's at my club here, local club. I'm sure there's going to be a men's league there. I'm going to sign up for and some random tournaments. They do this like the Saturday tournament based on your handicap is how you select the tees, and then it's all stroke play all the way through. So it's kind of a neat way to go and compete. And there's some just stripers at my club, some really, really good players. So it's nice to be able to compete against them. And I feel honestly, I think that's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most. Love the state stuff, but that stuff at the club, it's just a little bit different because it's like your local environment and that competitive juice. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about you?
I think, well, I'm on the wait list for a couple different places this year, so I'm hoping to get into one of those, and then yeah, same. I'm excited to get into some club championship stuff, play and those types of events. They do team stuff there too. We got you got the member guests and stuff, which I've heard is fun. I did some
Hmm.
caddying over this past summer at Interlaken Country Club. And I caddied most of their competitive stuff, and I kind of got a good feel for kind of how fun that stuff is, but also like the you get the competitive juices flowing too. So yeah, that's the same here. I'm gonna hopefully be in the club and be able to do that stuff. I'm excited about the four ball stuff. We mentioned it already, but I'm thinking the Minnesota stuff that's obviously gonna come first. We'll have a really good idea when we get into that, like how good we're gonna be as a team, especially when we get down the. That's like later in the summer. So we'll have a pretty good idea about how good of a team we're going to be, and then we might towards the end of the year even think about trying to get into the United States stuff. So
Oh yeah. I haven't really thought about that. That'd be fun. We should try to find some like local like 2-person scrambles too. Sign up for some of that.
can
'Cause
definitely do that. Scrambles are fun. You can a lot of the places around here are very open to like media for that stuff. So I mean, we can even bring cameras. We could do our damn podcast from there if we wanted to, which would be
right.
fun. So
Speaking of our podcast, we should talk a little bit about how this came about because
yeah,
me and
let it
you
rip.
just
Yeah.
me and you just randomly got together last year from Twitter. I think I put something out there. Just it was a halfway joke, just if anyone wanted to come caddy for me at the Mid Am. And I got a few people, including you, that are just like, "Yeah, I'll come caddy for you. I've already done caddying in the past." And yeah, so you came out, caddied for me on your own free dime. So that was nice. Didn't ask for anything in return. Just a cool guy, just coming out to chill. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, and we got to play. We only got to play one time last year together, right?
Yeah,
So that
yep. We
was
played out at Brackets. We got an
yeah,
awesome invite to play at Brackets, which is cool. Yeah, you have a different view of how the our connection happened, which is funny. It's similar, but on my side, I have been saying for years and years and years, I'm very analytical when it comes to golf. I know all about numbers, which when we get to our little lesson here, I think we're both gonna give like a tip or a lesson here before we go. So you'll understand this when I give mine, but very numbers oriented, very detailed. Like when I caddied for you, I had a book in my back pocket that had the entire course. It had all the yardages. It had everything. Had all the measurements. So caddying is like a thing that I thought I would be good at. Before I tweeted at you at the 3M. Before that, I had tweeted at Eric Van Rooyen, and I had a whole bunch of people like retweeting me trying to get me on his bag when he needed. I think his caddy made it into the 3M, so he needed a guy. So I was trying to get on his bag because I was like, I could be really really good at this. I know a lot about like how to get people to play good golf. Like caddying is my kind of thing. And so then I saw your post, and I knew it was kind of a joke, sort of, kind of. But then I also responded and was like, if he says yes, I'm definitely in because I think it would be fun, and I think I could help somebody as good as you be better and score better. So I was like, fuck it. I responded, and then you're like, are you serious? And they're like, yes. And then yeah, so yeah, we had a good time. Had some beers afterwards, after the rounds, which is great. Got to know each other a little bit. Our backgrounds in golf to where we are very similar. The way we play, our personalities are aligned pretty well in terms of we don't take golf super seriously, but we're really competitive. Love the competitive stuff, so we gel pretty well, and that's how. I mean, I think the podcast is going to go really well too because I think our personalities blend pretty well. So
yeah. I would say your caddying was top notch too. Like,
appreciate that. Thank you. Lots of
well,
lots of practice at interlocking too.
we were just talking about like wind and stuff, and like, you were so quick with the numbers. It's like, no, you got to add 8 to that because of X number of miles of winds coming back.
That could be one of my. It's not my lesson slash tip for today. Mine's going to be on putting today. But that could be a lesson tip down the road on how to do the math for the wind and how to adjust for slope and all that stuff. It very well could be because most people don't know, nor do they care. They just throw some grass up in the air, and then they kind of like look at their feet like it's kind of like downhill, and then they just swing away and see what happens. But you can, without taking a whole bunch of time, by the way, if you can kind of have an idea of what the math is ahead of time. Some people just put it in their yardage books. But if you can have a good idea of how the math works beforehand, you can get yourself into really, really good numbers without even taking too much extra time. So,
Right. Maybe that's something that we can talk about right now is, maybe I'll use that as my tip for the day of how to play when you're going back into the wind. Because what I see so many people do, especially with shorter irons, is they just, if there might be a 9-iron and they want to add 5 and they're just going to swing really hard at it. But so many people don't realize that when you swing harder at it, you're just going to generate more spin on the golf ball. And that golf ball is going to create more lift and balloon your ball into the air, and it's going to go shorter. So you just have to just take it easy on yourself, club up, just put the ego aside, take an 8-iron or 7-iron, hit it a little bit softer and keep it below the wind and generate less spin on the ball so it doesn't get caught in the air. That's probably the number one thing that I had to learn this year myself playing out at my club, because it's very wide open and it gets very windy out there. And there were so many times I'm just coming up short. It's like, no, I just have to take more club and hit it low.
yeah, it's playing in the wind is crazy. It hurts you much more than you think, especially when the clubs get longer. Like when you have wedges, especially if you're going to flight the wedges, it's not as big of a deal. But when you start getting into your 7-irons, your 6-irons, your 5-irons, obviously your driver, but as you start getting into the longer irons, it matters way more than you think it does. I remember I was playing with my dad this past year. We were playing in like a 30-mile-an-hour wind, or it might have even been more. It was crazy town. And he had like 150 into the green or something. And I saw him pull out his like 160 club, and I looked at him and I'm like, "You're not going to hit that club, are you?" He goes, "Yeah, I added a club for the wind," which is what people do. If it's windy, they just add a club or maybe 2 or whatever. So I see he grabs like an 8-iron, and I'm like, "Trust me here. Go grab your 5-iron and hit that and see what happens." And my man striped this thing, hit it to like 4 feet. He hit like a 200-yard shot, 150 yards into the wind.
He would have came up like 30 yards.
He would have been 30 yards short front of the green, and then amateur golfers, when you're short of the green or not on the green, who knows where you're going to chip the ball, and then putting is a problem too. So yeah, the wind thing is huge. That's what really, really good golfers are good at doing. That's why pros score really, really well when the weather isn't perfect. They and their caddies are really good at being able to judge the conditions, whether it's wind or rain, or if they're sitting in a flyer lie, for example.
Yep.
All those types of things, they're really good at being able to know how that's going to affect the ball, whereas amateur golfers are on YouTube Golf, they'll just go and somebody's like, "Oh, I just clubbed up when the wind came up and I was good." Like, well, that's not... It probably worked once for that person, but for the most part, you have to do a little bit more thinking to get the numbers right. So
yeah, and if it's like a standard wind, like a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, yeah, one club might work. But yeah, when you're playing in 30-mile-an-hour winds, it's a significant change in how much club you're going to need.
Totally. Yep.
But on the flip side too, when you're playing downwind, it doesn't change as much as what people think too. Like that 30-mile-an-hour wind, it's a 3-club wind, but when you're going back downwind, it's actually only going to probably be a club and a half of extra distance. It's not going to go quite as far. Obviously, with your driver, you're going to see maybe 30 yards more distance, but it's just not going to affect it as much downwind as it does into the wind.
Yes, right. Yeah. The mute's a problem. The mute's becoming a problem already. Yeah. So the rule of thumb, actually, we'll do math on this a whole other time, but the rule of thumb is the ball downwind goes half. You get half the amount of help as you do when it's hurting. So it'll hurt X into you, and then downwind it hurts half X. Mm-hmm. So we can we can do the math another time for a longer lesson on that. But we can. So is that your lesson, the wind lesson? I can jump into mine if you want, since we're on the lessons.
That's a good one.
Mine's So this is gonna teach you guys real early how nerdy I am about golf. But I think this will really help people and their putting. So this is a putting lesson. Anybody that's watched me putt, by the way, probably doesn't think I'm a very good putter because I don't roll in a lot of putts. However, I don't three putt a whole lot, and it's because of what I'm about to tell you guys, and that's what makes people good putters is you don't three putt. So this idea is supposed to help people with their speed in their putting, which is by far the most important part of putting. Unless you're within 5-6 feet or whatever, then you actually have to try and hold a putt. Or I mean, you should try and hold a putt all the time, but you should expect to hold a putt. So anything outside of 5-6 feet for us idiot amateur golfers is like less than 50% make rate. So anything under 5 to 6 feet is important. We want to try and make those. We should feel like we should make them, but we really, really want to focus when we're putting outside of 5 to 6 feet on making sure we're in that 1 to 2 to 3 foot range where it's sort of tapping. Your buddies will give you the gimme, so that you don't have to grind again and then possibly three putt if you're 5 or 6 feet. You're 50-50 again. So the goal here is to make sure that we get our putts close enough where your buddies will let you pick it up or you can just tap it in. So, first of all, the very most important key to all of this is that you have to step off every single one of your putts. It doesn't matter how far away they are. If you don't know how to do that, go out anywhere. Go out into your backyard and bring a yardstick, bring anything that'll help you measure, and start taking steps until you can reliably step off a yard. And then, you do 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards. So you can do 1 yard at a time. 1 yard equals 3 feet. So that's how we're going to count how far away we are on the green. If you can take one step, that's 3 feet, or, take your steps to get to 3 feet, 1 yard, 3 feet, 2, 3, whatever. You go down the line like that. So how this theory starts then, after you can do that, you want to go to a putting green for calibration. So, and when you go to the putting green, you don't want to go to a hole because you'll start using your mind to start putting to the hole instead of just trying to calibrate this putt. So what you do is you step up to your ball, take your normal stance, and you take the putter head back to the front of your back foot. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, Mitch? I watch a lot of streams, gaming streams. One of my favorite streamers, his name is Rex Antarax. He uses paint to teach people things because it's kind of dumbed down. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull up paint.
Yeah, do it.
And I'm going to teach via paint. That sounds fun. Let me see if I can share.
Well, while you're pulling that up, I just want to point out one critical thing that I heard you say, and that was don't use a hole. Just go to someplace random, just a random spot on the green, because you keep that visual of trying to actually make it out of your head, and you're trying to hit it to a spot.
Exactly. So yeah, this is just straight calibrating your speed, so you know when you get on the course how far the ball is going to go without you manipulating it with your brain. All right. So here's paint. Here's your 2 feet, right? So this would be the front. We're putting it this way. So this would be the front of your foot, middle, back. So we want to hit the first putt. We're calibrating the first putt so that you take the putter back to here, the front of your foot, and then you hit the ball, and then you step it off. If the goal here when you step it off is to get to 3 yards or 9 feet. So when you can get really, really close to that, this is 3. If you're too far or too short, you just adjust. I try not to use my front foot because I put the ball here, but you adjust your stance so this can go back or this can go forward. You adjust your stance so that will change the power. Obviously, the farther back you bring your putter, the more or less power there will be. So you change your stance, then that means this might go back a little bit, this might go up a little bit. But the goal is to get here to 3 steps or 9 yards, 9 feet, 9-ish, 10-ish feet. So you can do that. Now you've calibrated your front of the back foot to 9-ish, 10-ish feet. Now your next one is 5. So you're at 10 feet here, 15 feet here, and then your next one here is 7, 21, 20, 21, whatever. So these are your calibration spots. Now if you have a 12-foot putt, you again slightly adjust your back foot in your stance. That changes your how much you bring back the putter head, so it changes how much speed you put on the ball, it changes the distance, right? So you can get to any number in between these by slight tweaks to your stance as long as you're very consistent with your stance. Now, you can get back to 25 and to 30 by taking a decent step back with your back foot, and then you use the front and the back. We don't deal with the middle here. Up here, it's all peripheral vision, so you're looking at the ball the whole time, but you should be able to see your back foot too. So you should be able to see how far back you're taking the putter when you're kind of in like a narrow stance back here. When you get back here, your peripheral vision gets a little worse, so sometimes you might actually be like moving your head, which is bad. You don't want to do that, but if you're trying to like really dial in, like I got to get it to the middle of my back foot, then we're starting to move our head, and then that's bad. So we're just gonna, think about our front, think about our back, and then this is 25 feet, this is 30, so it's 10 steps here. So as long as this number here is dialed in and calibrated on the putting green, you can get all these numbers, and then with slight adjustments to your back foot, you can hit every number between 8, 9 feet all the way back to 30. For the most part, pretty reliably can putt it within 2-3 feet every time, and then your buddies will give it to you and you move on. You'll get 2 putts on every hole, and you will score better. I started doing this 2 years ago, Mitch. This is actually very similar to, I'll pull this off the screen now because it's just a lot of nonsense. I started doing this 2 years ago. I saw Bryson do something similar. He actually uses like a yardstick and like does all that crazy shit. This is very much more simple version of that. And I instantly improved my putting. Like I said, I was a really bad putter. I couldn't make any putts a couple years ago, and then I also couldn't stop 3-putting because I was so bad. Implemented this 2 years ago. I rarely 3-putt now. My putting's way better. My scoring went down a lot. So it really helped me. Pretty much everybody I tell this to that actually like puts the effort into like calibrating their putts and then doing this has been exponentially better at putting. So I think it's really good as long as you put the time in to think about it and calibrate it and then do it on the course without using any type of influence in your brain that says, oh boy, I calibrated this or I stepped this off to 15 feet and I know what the calibration is to 15 feet, and then say, no, I don't know if I'm going to get it there though. The key is you have to know it's right. Go to the middle of your back foot and hit it, and it will get there. I promise you. So it's a mental game once you calibrate, but you got to stick to it, and I promise you'll be a better putter. What do you think about that, Mitch? Is it good, or is it way too much to think about on the golf course?
That's really interesting. I actually, I don't know if I've never heard of it. It definitely seems unfamiliar to me. Maybe I've seen it in passing, but I think the key to this and any other method that people take is that you just need to calibrate, right? Like you need to go out there
For sure.
and you need to hit the putts in order to understand the weight of your putter, how far you're taking it back, and how much power you're putting it through into the ball, right? And I think that might end up being a common theme that we talk about a lot on this podcast, is to develop that sort of feel for how far your putt goes based on how much you're pulling the putter back, is really created by how much effort you actually put in to dialing that in. Like if you don't ever practice, don't expect to go out there and hole a bunch of 5-footers. Don't expect to get the ball close on a 25-footer. You're not putting in the practice to really deserve that. It's gonna happen sometimes just because your brain is pretty good at visualizing how far something is and can do it. But yeah, you just have to do it a lot and calibrate to it and figure it out. Yeah, that's something I'm guilty of. I don't do it enough.
Practice is key. Putting is actually one of my least favorite things to practice. That's probably why I'm not very good at like rolling in close putts. But very tedious. It's hard to come up with something that when you're doing it by yourself that's fun. Like you can do any type of drill you want, any type of challenge you want that's by yourself. And I have my coach has given me millions of them that I can do, and I go do them once or twice, and I'm like, oh boy, doing this by myself sucks. But when I go do a lesson, almost every time I have a lesson with my coach, we go to the putting green, we play a game called 21. Basically, take a couple balls, you put them to the cup closest to the pin gets a point. If you make it, you get some extra points. If you're farthest away, you have to putt it in, and then if you don't, you lose points. All this stuff, super fun. I love doing it every time because the competition's there. I'm not doing it by myself. All that good stuff that isn't just kind of beating balls on the putting green, which is, to me, isn't super fun. I
Yeah.
love, and Mitch, this will shock you, I'm sure, because you've seen me play golf before. I love going on the range and putting the launch monitor down and seeing how far I can hit my drivers while they semi go straight, and then figure out how I can hit them hard and make them go straighter, and then scale that back to the irons and the wedges and stuff. I love working on wedges too, but I love pulling out the launch monitor and playing games with myself there to just kind of pull into the dispersion or pull out the wedges and pick a number and hit it to 90 and then see if I can hit it to 90 or hit it to 110 and see if I can hit it to all that stuff. I love that stuff. That stuff's fun to me.
That does
I
not
don't
shock
I
me at
don't
all.
enjoy a whole lot of time on the putting green. So
Well, I mean, if I had your ball speed, I would probably be out there hammering drivers too. You're pretty easily cracking 180 when you're just cruising. So
yes, for sure. Yeah, I haven't taken one out on the course in a long time. But pretty well into the 180s. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good tip though.
Okay, good. I get a little nervous when I try and give people tips of how I get better at golf because again, that was very nerdy stuff. But that I have taught that to people that are not nerds about golf, and it has helped them. So
Yeah, one thing about any tips that we give throughout this podcast is try them. If you don't like them, do something different. Like there's no tip that if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Try something else until you find what works, and work with a coach on it is what I would really suggest. But yeah, if it doesn't work for you, move on to something else.
we have Trey in the chat. We have our first chatter, Mitch. This is key. I'm gonna read it to you. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on YouTube. Trey
That's
says, I think Trey hates me already, but it's okay. We'll be friends
no.
eventually. Trey says adjusting foot position would throw me off. I'm a field putter. Works well so far for me. I imagine if I were to roll the ball like a bowling ball to the hole, what that would feel like. I don't hate the idea, Trey. The only thing that this does is it gives you an exact spot of where to get the putter head to, and then you don't really have to think about it after that. Feel putting works, especially if you practice a lot. Like Mitch, I believe you practice putting a decent amount because you're a good putter, and you don't obviously do what I just did there. So yeah, I mean, if you practice a lot and you have the calibration down without needing to do what I just showed you there, that's awesome. And the one thing also that he said, if he feels as if he were to throw a bowling ball, what that would feel like. Maybe we can do this as another lesson, but I do that when I chip. I saw that on
Mhm.
Twitter or somewhere, somehow, some way. Somebody said chipping is really easy if you just feel like you go out and you go to the ball and you just kind of toss the ball. That's what the chip should feel like. I was like, interesting. So I went out and tried it, just instantly really good at chipping. Because I mean, I played sports with balls my whole life, like basketball. I played
Right.
baseball, softball. I'm used to like throwing the ball and like
Your,
knowing in my brain how far that's supposed to go. So like, you know what, I
yeah, your
should
mind
try
just kind
that.
of automatically does the judgment, just like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
I just
yeah.
get to that."
It was insane. And then so I did it actually in a couple tournaments a few years ago where I just would get to a ball where I had to chip it, and I felt like I looked like an idiot, but I had to do it. I would literally go to the ball and I would feel the throw and then I would chip the ball. So Trey, I appreciate your comment. I like the deal a
Yeah,
lot.
thank you.
It works with chipping too. Yep.
All right. Well, should we move on to the swing review and try to guess some people's handicap?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Do you want here? Let me. I'll pull up our Twitter here because that's where we got our videos. Let's get back to share. Eventually, I'll become a pro at sharing this stuff. Okay, we got a share there. Okay, here we go. So I got our Twitter up here. The first swing we got was a driver off the deck that maybe we'll do another time. The second one we got was your coach Ryan. He's really good, so we probably shouldn't do that, right? We can probably just guess that he's really fucking good. Although,
yeah, he's got to be somewhere between like a +3, +4.
Yeah, I mean the swing is awesome. He has a little baby draw here. You can tell if you stop the video. Bam! Look, that ball starts going right, and then if you watch the ball flight a little bit, it starts going left. So little baby draw. Good for Ryan. He's a good fucking golfer. Great teacher. Good for him. He's awesome. We love him. I don't think you disagree with me. Okay, so we have. I'll let you pick. We have Tech Golf here. We'll watch. I think there's two here. We'll watch them and then you decide. So we have Tech Golf here. He says roast me. Righty visor guy. Swing looks actually pretty good. And then we have Minnesota left-handed golf. We have a guy that stands on the wrong side of the ball.
First off, get some new clubs.
Yeah. Stand on the right side of the ball. Minnesota left-handed golfer guy. I'll just for fun. Did you know that I think this is actually the account that there is actually a Minnesota left-handed golfers community that they like host tournaments just for people that stand on the wrong side of the ball. Did you know that?
Yeah, I have heard. Well, I've seen that account posting that stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah. I think this account is the guy that runs it. Okay. Anyway, I talk way too much. You tell me which one you want to do, and then I'll pull it up big screen, and we'll watch it like 3-4 times, and then we'll guess.
Yeah, let's go Minnesota left-hander here. He's got some weird action there from the top. I want to take a guess at this.
All right. I like it. All right, let me.
He might have told me because I think I was trying to put some people together last summer to play. He might have told me his handicap.
Okay, well, pretend like you don't remember. Okay, I think I can just let this play in a loop here. Hold on. I think this will play in a loop. Oh yeah, playing on a loop. Okay, well, I'll let it play in a loop for a while. We can chat through it.
Just that little action at the top, you know.
Yeah, we got a big over the top move, so he's definitely right to left, moving with the ball.
He's got to slice it pretty good, I would think.
Yeah, definitely right to left. It feels like I'd be interested to see how much when we find out what his handicap is, how much coaching he's had. I think he stands a little too far away from the ball. His arms are a little outstretched.
Yep.
So that might also contribute to like the over the top move because he's kind of standing far away and he kind of has to lean towards the ball.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Right as he's taking the club away, you can see his lower half leaning back into the ball to get closer to it.
Yep, for sure. He does have pretty good balance though. So I bet he actually hits the ball pretty well. So like I think in this swing here, it looks like and sounds like he actually hit that ball pretty well. I bet that thing started out by the sun over there on the right. You see the sun setting over there? I bet that ball started over there and it just kind of fell off to the left, ended up in the middle of the fairway. He probably made a birdie.
Yeah, so the big question then, trying to figure out his handicap would be so we're never going to be able to tell just by one swing, but it's how frequently he misses. How frequently does he pull it straight right or miss big left?
Yes.
That's what I'm assuming where his miss is based off on what we're seeing here.
That I would make that same assumption. Okay, I'm going to make a guess. I'm ready to guess, I think. Boy, Mitch, you know what the problem is with this? I don't like to hurt people's feelings too much. I like to rip people occasionally, but I feel bad if
roast their swings, man.
So I don't want to give a number that is even like if I give somebody a 5 and they're like a +1. Like if I said your guy Ryan is a 5 and he's like +3, I would feel bad about that. Okay, I'm gonna go with 9. That's what I think. What do you think?
I was gonna say 8.
Okay, so we split the middle at 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5.
Okay, all right. So our number we'll have to. I don't know if Minnesota left-hander guy is here. Let me see if he's chatted at all. He's not. We'll have to find out. I'll DM him what the answer is. Um, and I don't know if anybody saw our tweets, but if we are within, let's make it 2. We said
No,
1, but let's make
we
it
gotta go
2.
1. Two is a pretty big number.
You want to keep it at 1? All right,
I think we keep it at 1.
All right, we'll keep it at 1. So if his handicap is between 7.5 and 9.5, we win, which means the person that we're gonna draw here at the end of the show for our followers on Twitter and YouTube, if we're within the 2, we will send them a full case of their preferred golf ball. If not, we will send that random person a sleeve. I feel good about our answer though.
Yeah, so do I.
Trey's back in the chat. I think I forgot we're still on the putting thing. Trey carries a .4 index, and his friends hate him. You know what, Trey? I have
Jealous,
I
Trey.
have the same
Jealous.
feeling, Mitch. I don't know if you have the same feeling with your friends, but I'm a .8, like I mentioned. Almost everybody I play with is in the 15, 16 or higher range, other than some that are in like the 7, 8, 9-ish range. But most people are shooting in the 90s and 100s, and they all also hate me. I feel you, Trey.
Yeah. It's not a jealousy though. They don't really hate you. They just wish they were as good as you, but they don't put in the same work.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to find Minnesota left-hander guy and figure out what his handicap is. Do we have anything? We're 45 minutes in, and our goal, just so everybody's aware, our goal is to keep this like under an hour. We know that you guys don't have a ton of time. We don't have a ton of time. Most people that are going to watch this are, like we said, kind of fall into the same like lifestyle as we have, which is, we're busy family lives. Wife, kids maybe coming up, all this types of stuff. So things are busy. So we're going to try and keep it nice and short. And if you want to make it shorter, you can speed it up on YouTube, all that good stuff. So we're 45 minutes in. We can probably wrap it up. What do you think, Mitch?
Yeah, I think that's a good spot to wrap it up.
All right, I'm gonna pull up the wheel of names then, and we're gonna let me refresh our Twitter page first and make sure we got everybody in there.
Yeah, because I'm still on a loop here. Minnesota left-hander. There we go.
Yep. We could watch that swing more if you want to. We could change our guesses.
This be the whole podcast. Just that swing on a loop.
Okay, let me make sure everybody that's in here I have on that list. Okay.
Yeah, make sure while we're getting ready to do this drawing, if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Twitter at FlyerLiePod or subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Flyer Lie Podcast on YouTube. That'll enter you into this drawing. I think we're going to be doing this every week and guessing the swing. So make sure you subscribe and follow us on Twitter for more.
Yes, it's the classic like, subscribe, follow, all that, whatever the professional guys say.
Yeah, right.
We'll get good at it eventually. Okay, I got the wheel of names here, Mitch. All right, do we want to? I'm gonna shuffle the names because I just typed them in as I saw them. So I'm gonna shuffle first. That feels fair. Okay, now the question is, do we spin it once, or do we spin it multiple times? As in, the first person that gets chosen isn't actually the winner. We're actually going to spin it 3 times.
Ooh.
Or do we just spin it once and whoever it is?
Yeah, let's just spin it once.
Okay, all right.
If it lands in somebody's name.
All right, we'll spin it one time. Ready, go.
Oh, that's fancy.
Oh my God.
Andrew.
No.
No.
Oh no. Okay, you know
All
what?
right, spin it again.
You know, I'm not gonna. He can win. God.
Yeah.
You know what we're gonna do though? Uh, the first video we got sent is a video of Andrew Rangich, and you know what? We're gonna play it.
Yep. I think you have to now. He won. So.
Yeah, you know what? The world needs to see it, and I have to go find it now.
Not gonna lie, when I first saw this video, I started laughing immediately. I felt bad about laughing, but I couldn't help it. It just came out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a video. Okay, hold on. I think I got it here. Share. All right, Andrew, you get your golf balls, but everyone's gonna watch you duff your driver off the deck. I mean, how obnoxiously bad is that?
He hit so much turf, the ball didn't even move.
The ball literally did not move a single inch. Look at he put so much effort into that too.
We've all been there. I've chunked so many in my life, but yeah, I couldn't help it. I started laughing. Felt bad, but.
If you can sort of kind of hear the audio, there's 4 of us standing behind him because we had an idea that this was going to happen. We're playing in a 4-person scramble here, so so we kind of had an idea that something like this might happen. So one person grabbed the camera and the rest of us stood around and watched, and all of us you can hear kind of crack up at that. So
it's good. He can enjoy his golf balls now.
Yeah. Good for him. And you know what? I don't even got to pay for shipping because he lives sort of kind of close by. So
perfect.
All right, Mitch. Let's close this out. We're gonna do this every Thursday at 8:00. At least that's our goal. Hold on, I gotta turn this video off. I think I can still the audio's still going. Okay. Anyways, every Thursday 8:00 we'll do. Similar to this, we'll kind of chat about golf, we'll chat about life, we'll have some laughs, we'll talk about our competitive schedules. Eventually we'll start playing together, and we'll be able to talk about that. We'll give tips every week. We each did one this week. We'll probably do like one. We'll probably like split them going forward. So like I'll do one week, you'll do one another week. Just to try and spread them out so we can kind of help people out, make people better at golf, hopefully. Because that's the goal here. We're just chatting about golf, but we're bouncing ideas off each other. We're trying to get better. We want other people to get better. So the goal is to get better at golf and enjoy golf more, which in a lot of cases means being better at golf. So
yeah. I never met somebody who was shooting 100 and not talking about breaking 90.
100%. There's a lot of golf podcasters out there that are there, and the YouTubers that are doing break 100 segments and break 90s and break 80s. So everybody's trying to get better, and when you do it, it's awesome. So
yep, absolutely.
All right, well that will do it for us. We stuck under our hour. Good for us, Mitch.
Nailed it.
And we'll be back in a week from today, if that's right with you.
Yeah, well, it's gonna have to be. Yeah.
All righty, man. We will talk to you all then, and thanks for hanging out. Like, subscribe, comment, follow, do all that good stuff. See you next Thursday.